Hello, welcome back to the channel. Before I get started, I hope you're all doing well. You're probably doing a little bit better than me. Bear with me, let me explain what's been going on. I think I told a lot of you last year I was getting off social media, Instagram, Twitter, etc. But I wanted to get off Facebook, but because I was running a Bruce Lee movies group, I felt compelled to stay with it because it had grown quite a lot. I'll get to that in a little while. Let me go right back. Now, I started my Facebook in 2005, which is a long time ago now, 17 years actually, and never had any issues. I only ever got banned once, and that's because Facebook, in all of its intelligence, decided anyone involved in any skinhead stuff would be deleted. They reinstated us, I think, a day later, realising they'd made a big issue, and I emailed Facebook, but I never got a response. They don't need, we're sheep to them. We're not people. Anyway, I was using an old email address when I first got the internet. Do you remember when you used to do dial-up? I was with AOL.com. Now, this is an email address I haven't used for a long time. But the scammers found it on the internet, and they infiltrated my Facebook via an old email I used to use. Now, I updated my email to Hotmail, I don't know, a couple of years ago, so I thought it was secure. Me and the wife was quite vigilant, and we went through and changed a lot of things. But there is a little way they can get in, and that's why I'm making this video. I thought I should sort of explain it. We'll get to that in a little while as well. Let me tell you how it happened. First of all, the scammers, scumbags, requested recovery codes on an old email address. Now, if you're on Facebook and you've got an updated email address, make sure your old email address is either gone or secured. They ask for 3 times this recovery, and they send you a special code. And I was getting notifications on my Hotmail, but alas, I was doing a photo shoot. My youngest daughter is heavily pregnant. She wanted to do a maternity photo shoot, so I was so busy doing that, I wasn't getting the emails. This literally only happened in a half an hour span. So they requested 3 recovery messages, not suspicious at all. And it was obviously not my IP, not my phone or my computer. It was none of them. So after the 3, they were able to reset my Facebook password. So Facebook security team, a very unimpressive round of applause for you. Then what they do, they add a new email address, so then you're going to have 2. After that, they change the primary email address to this new one that they've put on, not my current email address. They put this new one. That is the primary email address. Then they remove my primary email address. So now I have literally no way of getting in. They then changed my profile picture and name to Elizabeth Hurley and my date of birth. Not suspicious at all. And finally, they posted a load of ISIS terrorist pictures on the wall. By then, a lot of my friends was ringing me and messaging me on WhatsApp saying, I think you've been hacked, Stripey. We spent hours, me and my daughter, the heavily pregnant one, and then my wife came down. They spent hours trying to resolve this. I'm clearly not Elizabeth Hurley. I'm far prettier than her. So after all this, we spent hours, and my middle daughter came over, and she was working and all afternoon and into the early evening trying to resolve this. We was trying to scan in my driving licence, which I did feel quite uncomfortable about, just in case it got into the wrong hands. And on the emails, it said it was signed in from Santa Clara or near Santa Clara in the USA. Well, clearly I'm from Essex, England. Yes, I understand I could go out there on holiday, but, it didn't recognise my phone's IP address, which I often sign into, and certainly my computer. So it says it comes from the USA, but they're probably using a VPN, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was from somewhere like Delhi. They have call centres, and if you ever watch Jim Browning videos, you know, he scams the scammers and tries to stop it. It's a big industry out there. They're just ripping off people every day. It's a big, big business. Obviously, since then, I've gone in and changed all my passwords on all my other accounts and all my email addresses to prevent myself from these scumbags touching me again. But you do feel quite violated. Now, you're talking about 17 years of personal messages on Messenger, photographs and videos, places I've been to in the world where I've tagged myself, just 17 years worth of memories. And now it's been taken over by someone else. My messages with my deceased friend Doz, who was, he died in hospital in 2021, suspiciously. Yeah, so you feel quite violated. And I must admit, I was a little bit down, to say the very least. Some scumbag somewhere had my Facebook account and I overtook it from an old email address that I never ever used anymore. Now, bearing in mind, probably my own fault, and that email address now is deleted. I went in and shut that down and it's gone. I've had it since dial-up. Do you remember dial-up? Anyway, so that evening I went up to have a shower and my wife came up and she went, "Here's the rub. Your Bruce Lee Movies group that I was admin, that I created and spent the last 4 years building up to 105,000 members, was also infiltrated." What they did, they went in as admin. There was another admin with me because it was a lot to do on your own. Another guy called Adrian. They removed him, added 2 more, and then I left the group. That's it. I can't access it no more. My Bruce Lee Movies group is gone. All the hard work that I put in there. I do think now the account, it just says not available. I'm just not on there at all. So there's no way of Facebook reaching out to me on my primary email that I had just Friday and saying, there's a way you can get back. And there was no way of contacting them. We tried so many ways. It's disgusting, really. So the Bruce Lee group is no more. Now I was asked, am I going to set up a new one? I doubt it. Facebook, or Meta as they go by now, are appalling. They did nothing to really protect me on this one. They should have seen the suspicious activity, but they don't. If they had call centres like they have in Delhi, maybe I might have been able to talk to a human and they would have realised, I know it's hard, that I'm not Elizabeth Hurley. You just might have just guessed, but they're clowns. I haven't got a clue. I believe where Facebook has got so big, they just look at you as a product. You're a sheep, you're a bit of cattle. There's no one there to genuinely help you. I'm kind of sick of Facebook anyway. When I used to go on, it was always suggested for you, recommended for you. I wanted to see my friends and what they were doing, but it was just advert after advert after advert. But because I'm doing a Bruce Lee picture book, I kind of felt compelled to keep it going purely for that reason, you know. And plus, I put a lot of work into that group to build it up. Now, it ain't the biggest group on there, nowhere near. But it's quite substantial, and it took 4 years of removing all the vile pictures that used to get sent, because I used to just leave it open for Bruce Lee fans to post. But I realised very soon it needed moderating, because we was getting Islamic speeches and nudie pictures and this, that and the other. Nothing to do with Bruce Lee. So I wanted to keep it Bruce Lee, and I used to put on posts saying Bruce Lee only. But people would just persist putting their own stuff on it, you know. So we had to run an admin, and there was 2 of us doing it and doing a very good job of it, and the group was growing well. I can't get into it no more. It's kind of frustrating. But I don't think I'm going to set up another one. There was too much work, blood, sweat and tears gone into that. And my deceased friend was one of 7 when I first set it up. I set it up in 2018 or 19, but during the first lockdown crap, I started posting because we was all stuck at home with nothing to do. So I spent 25 years doing Photoshop, So I started to design my own Bruce Lee posters, and they seemed to get quite a big response, and the group started to grow. And just after Christmas this year, was it just before, we're at 100,000, 105 now. You know, we get about 300 a week join the group, so it was growing pretty substantially. Now, the reason for making this video, guys, is basically protect yourself. If you've got an old email account you're not sure of, shut it down if you're not using it. Definitely try and secure your Facebook if you can. Go through the proper steps, make sure it's secured. Or my advice is get off of there. They don't look after you. They don't care about you. If you've got a business account and there's money involved, possibly they do. But from my experience, and like I said, 17 years on Facebook without getting booted off, apart from their mistake with the skinhead thing, they just haven't got a clue. They just thought all skinheads were racist, let's just get rid of them all, which is ludicrous. They haven't got a clue. So yeah, so there it is. My advice to you guys is either tighten up your security if you're going to keep Facebook, or just shut it down. Because when you start having problems, you'll realise how much they value you. 17 years. Right, and with that, guys, I am now going to go over to Billericay and have a cup of coffee in Slipdisc and spend a bit of time browsing through some records. So you have yourselves a great day. I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Take care, people.